Howdy, everybody. This is Attorney Walter Knott. We're going to go ahead and begin. I'm just letting the computer start up and get all the things kind of rolling together. While this is happening, we're going to wait for people to join the session. And then what we're going to be doing is having a special, unique live interview this time with somebody who worked with the Social Security Administration. And they're going to be able to go ahead and answer a lot of questions. They were actually in the hearing rooms before, during, and after the hearings that I traditionally do with claimants. So before, I would even enter the room. After I would be done with the hearing, this person would be present. So I'm really, really excited. We're going to be going ahead and having a real person interview about what the conditions were like, how it was at the Social Security Administration, beyond even what I see as an attorney that goes in there. So this person was in the hearings before I would get there. They were in the hearings while I would be in there. And then they were in the hearing room after I was there. So let me go ahead. I'm going to pull up some information over here with my super squeaky chair that one of these days I'll replace. I don't know why I haven't so far. Let's see. Okay, good. Bring up this. Got that. All right, so what we're going to be doing, we've got about 4 people in. I'm going to take about 3 to 4 minutes to go ahead and talk about the future structure of how we're going to be doing these. For today, because of the internet issues I was having, because running 2 split screens at the same time wasn't working for this particular internet setup. In the future, what we're going to be doing is using Zoom to split screen. But for the purposes of today, the interview with the person that we're going to be having that actually worked with the Social Security Administration, that person is going to be live via telephone. So you're not going to see that person, but you are going to be able to hear that person. I just want to do a really quick shout out to my unofficial sponsors, because that's how I like to refer to them. The Beaver Moon Soap Company basically sends me soap because I like special soap, because I am special. There you go. But no, they're really good. They smell good. They've got all these weird little flavors. I got into this because I was buying Dr. Squatch, and then I was like, is there a better, cheaper option where I can get a zillion bars of soap? Anyway, that was it. So the other thing I want to go ahead and introduce is the other quasi-sponsor, which is Second Wave Masks. So I've been walking around with personalized, amazing masks for, I would say, I don't know, probably about 2 weeks now. And they're really nice. I like the prints on them. Obviously nautical. If you guys saw my doc, you'd understand. So let's go ahead and do this. We are going to begin, and we are going, flavors of soap. There's everything. I mean, you could, I have like 30 of them over here. You have orange cedarwood. You have kiwi. I'm keeping the kiwi. Kiss me all over. Kind of smells like, I don't know. Let's eat them, but I will enjoy them. So with that said, here we go. So yeah, if on a boat. Right there. So I know my connection comes in and out. We're going to be hooking up a much bigger, better internet. We're going to go basically 6 prom. Make sure 1 second, then you should be able to start. If you guys are ready, we're going to go ahead and begin that interview process from a person that literally was in the hearing rooms before, during, and after the hearing. So would see more than I would with these judges, and they'll be able to kind of give you the detail. It has to be a certain amount of, relaxed. You have to be professional, but you go into too many details. All right. So with that person, I'm going to go ahead and text them right now to give me a call. That way we're good to go. Cool. We're getting the person up right now, which is excellent. I'm also logging in to cut some of the extra internet that's going on. Let's see. Hey, this is Attorney Walter Knott. I'm just checking in to see if you are ready to go ahead and give an interview on YouTube.
I am.
Perfect. So what I want to go into are some basic questions, things that I think these guys are really going to be interested in knowing how the system works, what happens when they get there, stuff like that. I want to start off, though, with kind of an introduction for you. If you could keep it, simple, but still a little bit of detail. What vocational interaction, what kind of job did you have with the Social Security Administration?
All right. So I'm actually a hearing reporter. I am an independent contractor, so I'm not a direct hire for the SSA. I do work for a third-party company, and I am basically kind of the first point of contact for the claimant when they are coming into the hearing office for the hearing. And I transcribe the hearing. I monitor the recording equipment for the hearing. I handle all the legal forms and the invoices for any of the other independents, as far as vocational experts, interpreters, etc. And then I go ahead and turn in all of the paperwork at the end of the day for the judges. And I did kind of want, if that's okay, Walter, I kind of wanted to give my own little disclaimer. You guys in the chat, you can ask me any questions that you want to. Just if you are from Florida, I do request that you don't ask me any questions regarding certain judges. I can't give out any of those personal information based on my opinions for those certain ALJs that are in Florida. I do work with tons of different judges from other states through DTCs, just like Walter explained to you guys by video in other states. But yeah, if you can ask me any questions, just it can be directed towards a certain judge. But yeah, so I transcribed the hearing for basically everybody. Whatever you guys say during the hearing, I'm typing it up, and I handle all of the recording equipment. So it is audio, and it is also a written recording. A written transcription for the SSA that has to be turned in at the end of the day.
Perfect. So and just so that everybody kind of understands the gravity of this, we actually have an individual who interacts on a direct level with the OHO, which is the hearing office that you go to for your administrative law judge hearings normally. Obviously, COVID-19 has kind of made that so that we don't go and everything's telephonic. But traditionally, this is the person who meets and greets with you before the hearing and is your guide through the hearing process. So the next question I have for you is, before entering the hearing room, like, what happens with non-represented claimants versus represented claimants?
Okay. Yeah, so basically, when you guys enter the hearing room, before you enter the hearing room, I am the first point of contact with you besides the security guard. You're going to come in, you're going to check in with the security guard, and give them your name, the fact that you guys are here for a hearing, and what time it's at. You're also going to be meeting with, if your attorney is there already as well. And so what happens is you check in with the security guard, and then you're going to go into the lobby. I'm actually going to go check in with the ALJ, the judge, and tell them that, the next hearing has arrived. And then I'm going to come and check in with you guys. I'm going to ask you some of the basic information. I'm going to ask you your name, your address, your phone number. Just want to make sure that everything's up to date. And we also want to, and that's basically for everyone, whether you're represented or you're not represented. That is the, the basis for both. Even if you guys have an attorney. So I'm going to gather all of that information. If you guys have any witnesses or supportive roles, I will also go ahead and take their name in relation to you. And I'm going to go into a little bit about what a witness versus a supportive role is. A supportive role is someone who is there with you that you feel comfortable with, that can sit in at the hearing with you. Kind of like your hand to hold. What kind of car I drive is a blue truck. And then, your mom, who is your supportive role, is like, no, honey, it's a red truck. They can't interject at all. So that is a supportive role. If you want a witness is just like, probably the basis that you guys understand on TV and such, that they are able to speak on your behalf. They are able to testify on your behalf. Now, the difference is, we do have to get the ALJ's permission for you guys to have a supportive role or a witness. And every ALJ is different. They all work different. They are the boss of the room, but they work very differently. Some will allow them, some won't. And it also depends on, usually if you are not represented, you guys probably won't know this, but you want to send in a request to have a witness, because basically we have to allot time for you guys to have a witness there, a supportive role, because it will take more time than just the 30 to 45 minute testimony with you, an attorney, and the judge. We have to allot for more time. And again, for non-represented claimants versus represented, this is all the same. We still have to get the witnesses' names, the supportive roles names, and their relation to you. Also, one thing I want to add in, if it's a kid case, you guys have to have the legal guardian that filled out the paperwork come to the hearing. I've had a hearing, before this whole pandemic thing and everything spun out of control. I actually got a kid case, and the mother was sick, and so she sent in the grandmother. And my judge said that they couldn't have the hearing because the grandmother is not the legal guardian. So you guys have to have the legal guardian come into the hearing for a child that is under 18. They are considered a witness, so I still have to get their name and their relation to the child or, whoever is going into the hearing. Also, for a non-rep claimant, it's a little bit different. You guys don't have attorneys, and if it is your first time coming into the hearing, then you and I are going to go sit into a conference room. There should be, especially for for Florida, we have 2 conference rooms. And so that is for the attorneys to have, a little consultation sort of thing, conference with their claimant right before the hearing, to try to refresh their memory on, the testimony shaping questions that are going to happen. And then those are rooms also that I meet with the non-rep claimants. So I sit in there with you guys, and I have a CD with me. It has all of your medical records on there. Now, the SSA is supposed to send you non-rep claimants a medical record CD in the mail. Does it always happen? No. But I always have a copy with me that day to show you guys. Now, we can't go into every single section. There's A through F as far as evidence, and they all are categorized differently. But what we do is we go to the F section, which is the medical records section, and we just show you a brief description. We show you a summary of a description of the record. We show you where it's from, and we show you the dates of service, because we want to make sure that everything is there for you, that you turned in, that we're not missing anything, and that they all belong to you. Because at the end of the day, right, technology can be crazy, and sometimes it fails us. So medical records will go into the wrong file, or they won't be yours, etc. So we have to make sure it's yours. And so we'll go over all the medical evidence. And if you did bring any in with you that day, that's fine. I will say the judges don't like that, just because they want to give you guys a fair shot. This is like your once in a lifetime chance, and that's how you guys have to see it. It is not, there's no do-overs. There is do-overs. If you get rights to representation, that's going to be the first question that the judge asks you when you get in the room. If you want to waive your rights to representation and represent yourself, or if you want to go ahead and postpone to try to find an attorney, you are able to do that. The judges will give you a one-time postponement, but the next time you come in, if you do not have an attorney, then you have to go forward and represent yourself. So I'm going to go over all of that with you for a non-represented claimant, and then we'll make copies of any evidence that you brought in. Just like I said, the judges want to look it over. They don't want to skip out on anything. They want to give you a fair shot. So if you can, always, please try to send in your evidence as soon as you get it. Fax it, mail it, drop it off. It doesn't matter. Just, try to have it in before your hearing date. Don't just come in and throw up a bunch of evidence, because the judges don't like that. But we'll also, if you are missing things, right, and you don't have it with you, then I'm going to have you sign an 827. It's a medical release form from the SSA so that we can actually get records on your behalf. And so that's basically it for a non-rep. For a represented claimant, It's the same thing. Gather info. Most of the attorneys are really great. They aren't coming in the day of and turning in evidence. It does happen, but for the most part, they don't. If they were to, then, again, the judges aren't really favorable to that, only because the attorneys have a 5-day rule. They have to have everything submitted normally 5 days before the hearing. So, again, if you are represented, do your attorney a favor. Like, Walter is so busy. He has tons and tons of claimants. So, not to say he's not on top of what he needs to do, but he's one person. And so if you guys have an attorney, if you guys have a record, if you guys went to a doctor and you know that it's missing, try to get it to him. Try to get it to your attorney as soon as you can, or tell them about it in advance. Because when you guys get into the hearing and your attorney turned in all of this stuff on that day, the attorneys know this already, but it doesn't look favorable. The ALJ is going to beat up the attorney and talk about the 5-day rule and why was it late and yada yada. And then I'll gather any legal forms from the attorney. So, I'll just give 2 examples. Basically, an amended onset date form. So that is your onset date is the date that you became disabled, right? So if for any reason the attorney has to amend that date, then there's a form that has to be filled out. So a lot of times they will have those filled out prior to the hearing, and they'll hand that to me, or a closed period form. I know in most of the lives, you guys are not going to know all these forms, but a closed period form is basically, in terms of Social Security disability, it's the time between the onset of your disability and the time when you were able to return to work. So basically, that's you asking for disability just for a set period of time because you went back to work. So those are the kind of forms that the attorney would submit to me, hopefully before the hearing. Some of them do it during, but basically, I'm just going to gather all the information, show you guys the evidence, and then when the judge is ready, then we're going to go ahead and go into the hearing room.
Okay, excellent. So I just want to point out, she's absolutely right. Now here's the deal. I always do a 5-10 day letter before the hearing to notify the judge if I have a complete record or a not complete record. But the deal is this: if I'm going in there and my client hands me paperwork ahead of time, I'm hoping that the judges, in this case, clerk / the person that's going to be doing the transcription, I'm hoping that's a buddy of mine who can just hand it to him, because otherwise the judge rooms me out. I mean, beats me up and down. There's a left side of the room, a right side of the room. I'm in the left corner. I'm just kidding, but it's horrible. They beat you up. They just maul you, these little judge paws, and it's terrible, but it's okay. Actually, my dogs are now trying to come up and kiss me. So with that said, hi, Shadow. With that said, I want to ask you this. Okay, so that's really good. That's what happens before the hearing. But what these guys are worried about, what these guys are freaking out about, what these guys are scared about is basically what's happening during the hearing and interacting with that judge. Because when I went to law school, they explained it to me as the judge is like a big tank with 2 giant cannons on the front. And when you're sitting there and the judge is moving those cannons, you never really want the cannons to be locked onto you for too long. So let me ask you this, okay? When in the hearing, what can a non-represented versus a represented with an attorney claimant expect from the whole process, not just the judge, but the VE, the whole process?
Right. All right. So yeah, and it's a little lengthy, and Walter knows that I can talk a lot. So guys, I'm sorry if I'm long-winded, but I want you guys to have all of the details. I want you guys to be prepared and know what you're getting into. So I'm gonna try to be thorough, and fast if I can. If I need to slow down, yell at me. No, please don't, but you can. All right. So basically, when we go into the hearing room, we're gonna we're going to walk in. You guys are going to be super nervous. It's going to be super great. But no, let me start by saying this first, okay? So I know all of these ALJs. I know a lot of them personally, you know, in the hearing room and outside of the hearing room. Things are a little bit crazy right now, just like with everybody else, right? With the pandemic and everything. So I'm an independent contractor. So at the moment, I didn't sign a contract to provide services and all of that for an extended period. So right now, I'm considered pretty much unemployed at the moment because they are conducting phone hearings, just as Walter explained to you guys. They are doing phone hearings, but they are using in-house people right now to do the transcription. So when you guys have a hearing by phone, the people who are transcribing the hearing, who are operating all of the equipment, those mostly are their legal assistants. Okay, so basically all of the independents, as far as hearing reporters, are not working right now. The VEs, they're from home a lot of the times. Even if you have an in-person hearing, a lot of times these VEs will be working from home. They have that option. The SSA is cool with it. Some judges are not okay with it. The majority of them are okay. We do have one judge in Florida that he really likes to have an in-person VE because he just feels like it's better. You know, in-person hearings, just as Walter tells you guys all the time, it's a better environment. You guys can see reactions, see faces, see expressions. It's nerve-wracking for you guys, but it really is better system, you know, than the phone hearings, I will say. So when we walk in, sorry, I don't know if you guys heard that. I'm getting dings from OfferUp. So basically, when we walk into the hearing room, there is going to be, you know, a few different seats. It's just like a hearing room that you might see on television, except it's just not as big. But there is a place for the attorney to sit you. There is an area for an interpreter or a witness or a supportive role. The VE is there, or they are by phone, is what we call polycom. That's basically the TV system that we can have phone calls, video calls, things of that nature. And then there's me, and I'll be off to the side with my handy-dandy computer, typing my fingers away, and then there's the judge. So we're all going to sit down. There is water for you guys everywhere. Some of you guys, I know, with certain medications, you might have dry mouth, or you guys are just nervous, you know, and so there's water there. But we're all going to sit down, and then when the judge is ready to go on the record, the judge will give an indication that they're ready. So I'm going to go ahead and start the recording. And then once the recording is started, the microphones are hot. So everything that you guys say, everything your attorney says, all of that is on the record, okay? And that's what we mean by on the record. That means the mics are hot, and, you know, I can play back your voice and hear it later. So the mics will be hot, and I'm going to go ahead and start typing everything that is said. So in the beginning, and this is for non-rep and represented claimants, we're all going to do introductions. The judge will introduce themselves. They will introduce the vocational expert. They're going to enter, unless it's a kid case. Kid cases do not have VEs because most of them are not working. So he will be there. They'll introduce them, and then they'll introduce me. And then for non-rep, we'll go ahead and get the claimant's name and their social, just to kind of introduce themselves, and we want to make sure that the right person is before us. So basically, even though if you were a non-represented claimant and we were in that room, in the conference room, like I said before, and we went over the medical records, and the judge went over any records you brought in and things like that. If you guys go into the hearing room, that is, remember, the first question that I said the judge was going to ask you was if you would like to postpone or if you wanted to waive your right to representation and represent yourself. So that's going to be the first question the judge asked. Now, if you came there and you had already had a hearing and it was a postponement, remember again, in the beginning I said that if you already had a postponement and you came back in and you couldn't find representation, then you have to go ahead and represent yourself. In that case, you will not have a form to sign or anything like that. If this is your first hearing and you're given the option to waive or postpone, then you're going to sign a form either way that has the date on it, your social, all of that to say that you're postponing or you're waiving your right to representation. And basically, if it is postponed for representation, the moment that you sign the form, a lot of the judges will go off the record and then you guys are allowed to leave. Now, some of the judges are different. When you guys postpone and you want to postpone, if you brought in evidence, the judge will still go over it because in the meantime, we want to work smarter, not harder, right? So if you guys came in and you're going to postpone anyway, and there's records that we need, we're going to have you sign that medical release form, and we're going to jot down every single thing that as well. You guys are going to get another hearing, and it's going to be sent to you via the mail. Now, if you get an attorney, obviously they're supposed to handle everything for you, let you know when it is, and, you know, all of that stuff. And guys, I have notes, so I'm going to make sure I'm covering everything. So for non-represented claimants, if you guys go ahead and represent yourself, then we're going to go ahead after the introductions and we're going to go over evidence as far as what you brought in, what we already have, and then we're going to go ahead and admit those into evidence. Now, you guys will have an affirmation or an oath. That's where you swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God. You say, I do. You raise your right hand, not your left hand, but your right hand. That's the one on the right side, not the other side. And you guys are going to swear to tell the truth. And then you guys will go into answering questions. Some of the judges do it differently. They'll introduce evidence, and then they'll swear you in, or they'll swear you in, and then do evidence. And for represented claimants, and like I said, I'm going to kind of jump back and forth, but represented claimants is the same way. You guys are going to go over your introductions. The attorney will be given the chance to make an opening statement. That is what Walter talks about in some of these lies about writing briefs that take, a good amount of time because, it's trying to take hundreds and hundreds of pages of notes, okay, and then records and all of that and summarize it to try to, kind of introduce the claim to the judge and kind of give them a brief summary. Even though they already know what it is, they do still give the attorney the right to make an opening statement on your behalf. So you guys the attorney will be able to do that, and then they'll go into, again, admitting evidence into the record. Again, there's A through F. When you hear that, A through F, F is the medical records section. All the other sections, to be completely honest with you, I don't know each section by heart. Walter does, but that's for another day.
Yeah.
So, again, you guys will do the affirmation, the oath, and then if you guys did bring in any witnesses or supportive roles, the judge might acknowledge them and say, hey, can you please state your name for the record? They'll state their name. And if they are a supportive role, the judge will explain, what their role is and kind of sit you in the naughty corner over there so you can't talk.
Right.
But then the witnesses, every judge is different. So you guys will have judges that will allow the witness to be in there when you guys are testifying, but for the most part, you cannot have a witness inside the courtroom when the claimant is testifying because, the ALJs want to cross, reference, your facts that you're giving, the testimony. So The claimant is going to go first, and you guys will have the testimony, and then they're going to bring in your witness after that. And they will swear them in as well. Everyone has to be sworn in except the attorneys and me. I don't have to be sworn in. So the vocational experts will be, and so will the claimants and any witnesses or supportive roles. And I guess I should have said, if you guys have medical experts as well, a lot of times ALJs don't really favor having medical experts give opinions or things like that. I mean, they do, but as far as in the hearing, it takes a lot of time, and you guys have to remember, and it's hard to understand this, but the ALJs are not doctors. They're not. They take into account all the medical records. That's the basis of your case. That is your evidence. They are reading that, and then they are making a decision based on your medical records, but they're not doctors. So when they talk to these medical experts, they use terms that, sometimes the judges may not understand or, get, but they will have them if they are requested. I have had in the past where and it came and, ALJs and everybody that works for the SSA, we're all human, right? So we all make mistakes. And so it could be overlooked or something, and then the judges will not have medical experts testify, just because, again, it's all about time. All these judges want to stay on time with their hearings. They want to give everyone a fair shake. You guys all have scheduled time, so you guys have to allot time for those witnesses and medical experts and things like that. So I guess my tip would be, if you guys have witnesses or medical experts or whatever, even if you have an attorney, just kind of put a bug in their ear, just like, hey, just make sure that we request it. Or if you're not represented, you need to request it yourself, because we do have to give you guys more time. But then basically, then the testimony will happen. Now, if you are not represented, obviously, and you decide to go forward, the questioning is going to be between you and the judge, and the vocational expert if they are present, because you're over 18. So you guys are going to go over background questions. Background questions are as far as your living situation, where you live, what kind of house, apartment, mobile home, trailer, in the woods, whatever. They'll go over if you have children, how old are they, what are their names. They'll go over where you went to school, how far did you go? Did you go to college? What degree did you get? Did you get a degree? What was your degree in? Did you have any vocational training? Yes, no, maybe so. Okay, cool. Are you working now? Things like that. They just get like a general background of your history, how old you are, things of that nature. And again, this is the same for represented cases as well. Now, some of the ALJs will do the questioning, and then they'll give the attorney the chance to ask any questions that maybe the ALJ didn't, or they'll pass it over to the attorneys, and they will conduct all of the questioning, and then it'll be backwards. Then the ALJ will interject if they need to ask something, or if at the end, when the attorney is done and they rest basically with the testimony questions, then the ALJ can ask questions if they feel the need to. But the basis of the questioning is going to go background, and then you guys are going to go over your past work in the last 15 years. A kid case, obviously, we're not going to direct questions as far as work. Unless they're 16 and like me, and I was, a bagger at a really cool grocery store and super cool at 16. They might ask you questions about work, but for the most part, they don't. They gear it towards how you are in school. What grades are you making? Do you have friends? Do you socialize with friends outside of school? Do you have friends in school? Do you guys get along with your teachers? Do you not get along with your teachers? Why not? What's your favorite subject? What's your least favorite subject? Why is it difficult for you? Those sorts of things. That's the questions for the kid cases. But for 18 and over, we're going to ask you guys questions about your past work over the last 15 years. And then it'll go to medical impairments, all the medical impairments that you guys have that are, in the record. Now, I don't know about Chris Walter, but I'm gonna try to go on a limb and say it. But as far as medical impairments, I can't tell you guys enough that I know that you guys have medical impairments that are there in the records, but sometimes, you guys bring up on your attorney like new news, right?
Yeah.
And so the attorney's like, I haven't heard of this so far. But you guys will be sitting there and you'll be like, yeah, I think my doctor, I'm pretty sure he told me I had lupus the other day. Like, I'm pretty sure.
It's always lupus.
Pretty sure.
Always lupus.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah.
Every time.
God.
Yeah.
So, it's like, I think I was diagnosed with lupus the other day. Now, if it's not in the record, the judge is going to beat you up. Well, it's not in the record. Where is that? What page? What doctor who said that? And blah, blah, blah. So, if you guys have medical records, don't go, you always have to tell the truth, right? You took an oath to tell the truth. So be honest. You guys are there for a reason. You guys are there because you need this. And you guys have, disabling impairments. You guys, you have those, or else you wouldn't be there for attorneys. They know it. They've seen it all. They've heard it all. They know when you're lying. They see it. Okay. So, don't add more to your case unless it's necessary. Then they're going to ask you about your medications and your side effects. Now, sometimes for non-represented claimants, these judges, I hate to say this, Walter, I don't know how to say this, so I'm just going to say it.
Be gentle. Be gentle.
I'm trying. I'm trying.
A little bit of cashmere, a little bit.
Yeah. I'm petting myself right now, like, okay, it's all right.
Make it okay.
All right, so, all right. So with the side effects and stuff, these judges, oh man. All right. So some of these judges are great. Okay. I love all of them. I do. I love some more than I do others, but it's okay. We're cool.
Yeah.
It's nice, whatever. But some of these judges, when you guys are not represented, they may not ask all the questions that they need to. And it's going to be up to you guys to bring everything forward. Remember, this is like Independence Day, right? Like this is the day for you guys to, get everything that you need and prove your case and everything like that. If you're not represented, watch Walter's videos. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Watch Walter's videos. Watch his playlist. And I'm being dead serious. You guys have to understand that while these judges do want to help you out, there are some that will not go over everything that you should be telling them, and it can be taken advantage of. The fact that you guys might not remember everything to say because of the atmosphere you're in, because you're going to be nervous. You're not going to remember everything. It just happens. So if you guys are not represented, please watch Walter's videos and take notes, and and put your best foot forward for yourself, because you guys are the people who are going to protect yourselves the most. No one's going to have your back like you have yourself. Yeah, okay, if you guys understand what I'm saying. So, they're going to go over medications and side effects, and then they're going to go over your functional capacity questions, which are: how long can you walk before you feel the pain? How long can you stand before you need to sit down? How long can you sit? How long can you bend? Can you go upstairs? Can you reach? Can you manipulate your fingers to pick up quarters off of the table? Things like that. They're going to go over those questions. And then they may ask trick questions. Now, I added this in there just because this is just a tip I think all of you guys should know. They may ask trick questions regarding your opinion of doing a job that may be more sedentary and easy. So be ready with the answer to that question as to why you can't do that. What I mean by that, and here's an example. I have a judge. I won't say what state, but I have a judge,
Mm-hmm.
and he will ask you, okay, so your past job was as a construction worker. Okay, well, how about, can you just maybe do a simple job where you just sit down at a desk and you put pins in a box? Now, guys, it's really hard for me not to laugh every time he says this, because I'm like, who in the hell has a job where you just put pins in a box?
Right.
But he will ask you that. These judges will ask you these crazy. You're like, where's that job? Where can I find that on Indeed? I'll apply right now.
Mm-hmm.
No, there's no pins in the box job. Okay, there's just not. But they will ask you this question, and then you have to have an answer as to why you can't do that simple, simple repetitive kind of job. And they will ask you that. Most all of them do. Okay, they're going to ask you some sort of sedentary job to see if you can do that, and you have to have it. Be thinking about that before the hearing, please, but during the hearing, because you can't sit for an extended period, because you can't manipulate. You have arthritis, and you're in pain after 15 minutes, or you have to elevate your legs, or use a cane or a walker, blah 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 blah. Be thinking of that, because they will ask you that. And then they're going to go into the VE testimony for past work. The VE is a vocational expert. They have done a study of every job that you've had, and then they classify it as far as past work, what you did, what skill level it was, whether it's light, sedentary, heavy, very heavy. And then they'll give, a DOT number to categorize that job. After they go over the past work from the VE, then the ALJ is going to go over hypotheticals. And this is where it's basically the testimony. This is the back and forth between ALJ and VE. If you guys have an attorney, the attorney is actually not going to talk at that point, and neither are you. You guys cannot talk during the ALJ VE testimony part. The attorneys are given the option to, cross-examine the VE at the end of the VE testimony, but not during it. So a hypothetical is basically, it's like they're giving a person, they're giving a hypothetical with restrictions that someone with your sort of limitations could perform or not perform. So they're going to ask, let's take a claimant with the same age, educational background, blah, blah, blah. And let's say that they can pull 20 pounds occasionally and 10 pounds frequently, and they can stand and walk for 6 hours in an 8-hour workday and sit for 2 hours. They're going to give all these kinds of different restrictions, and then the vocational expert is going to then respond and say, no, they cannot perform their past work, or yes, they can. And then if they can't perform their past work, are there any other jobs in the national economy that they can perform with those restrictions? Now, there will be maybe one hypothetical, 2, 3, 4. It's kind of up to the judge. They will give different hypotheticals, and then for each one, they will ask the vocational expert if they are able to perform those jobs, or if they're able to perform a job or not. And then when that is over, the non-represented claimants are given the option to cross-examine the VE. Now, a lot of times when a non-represented claimant is there, you guys have no idea what just happened. None. Not a clue. You're like, who are you? I know I heard your name, but I have no idea who you are to the VE. And, how can you say I can't do a job? I can't even bend over and pick up my cute little shadow dog. So you guys have no idea what just happened. I mean, I just explained it to you now, but, you guys are able to cross-examine the VE at that time. But you guys are not going to ask it in sort of vocational terms. And that's okay. The judge will take your question and they will turn it into a vocational term hypotheticals to the VE should you wish. But then if you're not asked any questions and you have an attorney, then the attorney has the option to cross-examine the VE. And they will go to town sometimes. So after that's done, and then we'll go over the closing to the hearing. The non-rep cases, depending on if they brought in evidence or they didn't bring in evidence, it will go to what we call post status. The post status is where the judge is going to take time to make a decision because we have to request records on your behalf. The case can go to post for a represented person. If there are records missing that the attorney tells us that we need to get or we need to wait to get, then the judge will give the attorney, okay, I'm going to give you 14 days for you to submit those. So the judge will thank you for your time. The judge will go over, if you guys move, please notify your attorney. Please notify us of your address change so that when we mail the decision, we mail it via, USPS. So we mail it to you. We don't call you. We're not like, hey, you won. We're not, it's not like that. So it's all by mail. So make sure that you guys have your address up to date with your attorney and with the SSA, please. And then that's it. And then you guys can breathe, and you guys will be breathing. Like through the middle of it, you're going to realize that the judge is just a person like you, and that they're human, and you guys are going to feel more relaxed towards maybe, middle to end of it. You guys are going to feel relaxed. You're going to feel fine. But in the beginning, you're going to be nervous. And Walter always tells his claimants that I promised them ice cream and lobster and all of that.
It's true. I lied to them. I lied to the claimants straight to their face. I promised them ice cream, at least a steak, and some sort of fish-oriented food. Maybe a crab, but I don't go too exotic because I know nothing about that kind of food. So you're getting vanilla ice cream if you push me, though. So, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is disappointing. Guys,
Yeah.
Walter's favorite ice cream is vanilla. I don't know what is wrong with him.
It's true. Vanilla bean.
Someone help.
It's amazing.
Someone help.
I do like Rocky Road. I don't want to get too complex with my ice cream. I'm going to have a good time. I want to have,
All right.
So,
all right. Well, let's not let all the viewers know all your gland secrets.
my secrets. The secrets of life. Yeah, it's true. All right, well, I want to ask you this.
Right.
So they do the hearing. They do the outro to the hearing. The judge thanks them for coming in. Thank you for being part of the hearing process. And the judges will almost always, unless you're a total nicely put schmutzy person to the judge, the judge will always say, hey, guys, thank you so much for coming in, for being present today, for taking part of this process. The judge will always make it a positive experience for you, even if they're going to deny you. Right. So even if they're going to just stick it to you, and they're not really sticking it to you, because keep in mind, they have to stick to this code, and everybody gets really emotional about their impairments. They say, oh, of course I'm disabled. But they have to stick to this code of, principle, elements, evidence, all these things. So they just have to stick within that. So I want to ask you, Cheyenne, when it comes down to this, okay, so they get out of the hearing room. Then what happens for the unrepped claimants? Then what happens to the represented claimants that have attorneys? Like, what happens at that point?
All right. So it's basically kind of the same deal. So basically, if the non-rep claimants, had a whole bunch of medical evidence that we had to request and we had to gather and get on their behalf and whatever, even with the represented claimants as well, the ALJ is going to take some time to get the additional records, and then they're going to make a decision after all the evidence is collected. And they're going to answer, again, via mail to the claimant for non-rep cases, and then obviously to the representative for the represented cases. The decision can take a few months to get. But, again, just like I said before, we want to make sure that you guys are up to date with your addresses and things like that. I'm not too sure, but I think sometimes, there could be an additional form or something that we need from you guys. And if we don't have the right address, these judges will deny you because you guys didn't provide your address, mail's lost, mail went to, you know, whoever down the street, and, you know, then you guys are at fault for not turning in a form that was requested in order to make a decision for you guys. So make sure you always have your address up to date. I can't stress that enough. And that's basically it. It's just kind of it's a waiting game. And then, you know, of course, just getting in all the evidence to give you guys, you know, the best possible outcome for your hearing. So it's just a waiting game. And I know it can be faster for some, and then it's longer for others. So yeah, that's basically it.
Perfect. And let me kind of go into this. So that guy's autonomy, some sort of pieces, elements to this. What are the top 5 mistakes claimants can make when going to their OHO ALJ hearing? And I just want to phrase it again because the camera went off there, but what are the top 5 mistakes claimants can make when going to their ALJ hearing? And if you could be specific about like a claimant that had done this or something that where it popped out a story, that would be helpful. But the top 5, what do you think?
All right. So, okay. There's a lot to do wrong. No, okay. So,
yeah.
Let me go. Yeah. So, all right. Top 5. I would say the first one would be being late. Or
Oof, yeah.
Coming in. Yeah. Don't be late. Please don't be late.
Yeah.
Guys, I have had claimants from, let me just put it to you this way. So, where I live, you know, all the other, so with the courthouse that I work at, basically claimants come from, some of you guys are out of state, so you're not going to know where the hell I'm talking about. So some of the cities are maybe 20, 30, 40 miles away, and they have to travel, you know, that distance to come to the hearing. If you got, the judges do not care how far you had to come to your hearing. If you are late and you are, some judges give you 5 minutes. Some judges will give you a 10-minute grace period. Some will give you a 15-minute grace period. If you guys come, and you're not going to know because you don't know the judges. So if you are not on time, the judge will, you know, send you what we call a notice to show cause, which is basically they're going to send you a form, and you guys have to send something back to state why you didn't make it, why you were late, what happened. And this just goes for, you know, just say you had, unfortunately, and this is the worst example, I'm so sorry, but it's the one that I can think of the most off the top of my head. If you guys have your hearing, and God forbid, right, you had a death in the family, okay? And I'm not putting that in the universe, so please, you know, protect all these viewers. But I'm just saying, if you guys had a death in the family and then you guys missed your hearing, or, you know, whatever, they will send you a notice to show cause, and you guys have to forward in evidence, basically, whether it's written or, you know, even a plane ticket, right? So if you're, you know, whoever passed away in New York and you got to fly there, these judges will be like, well, give me copies of the ticket.
Yeah.
Give me a copy. Show me why you weren't able to come to your court date. Okay? So it's, so please don't be late. And then I have to say this, but I don't want to, but I'm gonna. Mm-hmm. Please don't, and I shouldn't have to, but please don't come in under the influence. Please don't.
Like some of my claimants, yeah.
Correct, and I didn't want to say that because I love you so much.
I know, I know it. And to be fair though, they bring a variety. Some of them are high, some are drunk, some we're not sure what happened. Right. So,
guys, I can't tell, and this actually was not Walter's claimant. Walter will remember though, he was sitting there with a claimant, but this person had an attorney, and I had to walk into the conference room, and I had to walk into one of the conference rooms to greet get the information and yada yada. And when I went in there, I'm telling you, the marijuana smoke met me at the door.
Oh, yeah.
I was high when I left.
Oh, yeah.
I was.
Bob Marley wrote
I
a
was
song
super
about
high.
that one. Oh, yeah.
I was. Do you remember that?
I remember that. The smell was so bad.
Yes, I walked out and I was pretty vocal about it.
Yeah.
I was like,
You like announced
I'm
it to the room in a
"Whoa."
quiet fashion. I was just like, is it real? And then when I turned around, it was so obnoxious. But at the same time, I could tell most of the people in the lobby were happy.
Right.
No one complained but us. Yay. Yes.
Right.
You
That
know.
was a great hearing.
Yeah, let me tell you. The judge seemed very relaxed. Judge had zero complaints. Vocational expert was on point.
But the hearing reporter was on 9. I will say hi. No, so please don't come in under the influence. And I shouldn't have to say that. I've had drunk claimants. I've had strung out claimants. I mean, now, granted, I know some of you guys are on pain meds, and you guys are I don't know. I don't want to say it like this. I'm not trying to offend anybody, but you guys come in like walking zombies, okay? And it's different. If you guys have on the record that you guys have these medications, you're all good, okay? We expect it. We get it. The judge will even ask you, did you take your medication today? Is that why you're like falling asleep at every question? Okay, got it. So yeah, that would be the number one thing is don't be late. Don't come. That's actually 2 separate things, but I'm just rolling it all into one.
Yeah. Don't be late and high. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't.
Because that just makes it worse.
Right. And then when you come in, don't tell a story about how oh yeah, my brother was in town and I just, he had his medical marijuana card and he was like, hey, try it because, it'll take the pain away. So I did, and now I'm here, and just don't. And then,
yeah.
To come in with a positive attitude, regarding like what happened in prior decisions. If you guys are there because you guys were denied, understand that the judge, and they will say this, a lot of them will say right in the beginning, they will say, hey, we're here for, Dr. Spock. Hey there, guy. Dr. Spock's hearing. And we are going to, we're going to, be conducting a hearing, and we're going to ask you questions regarding your impairments and blah, 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 blah. And they will say, and I am here to take a fresh look at the case. I'm here to take a fresh look at the case. So don't come in there with, a crappy attitude because you guys got denied before. Listen, I know it sucks, and I know that you guys go through so much. I know that. And Walter, you said my name earlier. So it's, hi, I'm Cheyenne. I'm the person that you guys taught. You did. You said my name earlier, and I was like, there you go.
Sorry. So sorry.
Hey,
I made a boo-boo.
Hey, it's Cheyenne.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm not in there chatting, and Walter is. But
I'm having a great time. He told. Now he has one of the insiders on his team, which is now on y'all's team. So I'm going on a limb here, trying to give you guys as much information as you can, but understand that at the moment, due to the pandemic, I'm not a direct employee of the SSA, and technically I didn't sign a contract with a third-party company either. So now I am all Walters, and I'm all you guys. But anyway, so I would say, if you guys come in there with a bad attitude and you get out of line, there is a security guard, and that is what he's there for. And they will take your ass out, and they will take you out of the hearing room, even for an attitude, okay? Like, you guys may not have even been, like, vulgar, right? But I've had claimants that have been asked to leave, or they will be escorted out because you guys just, get in your feelings and stuff like that, and you guys take it out on the judge, and, don't do that. You guys have to understand that the judge is the boss of the room,
They want to help you. That's what they're there for. They want to help you. But giving an attitude is not going to help you at all. So I would say, and let me say this. If you guys give the judge an attitude and you guys have another hearing, most likely it's going to be with the same judge. And then when you guys come back, the judge will have requested an extra guard.
Yep.
Just in case.
Yep.
So there's an extra guard that stands outside of the room, and there's a little peephole in every single courtroom, and they keep an eye. And then, there's protocol that if they needed to be buzzed in or what, you look ugly today, so just don't do it. But the third thing is, I would just say be vocal. A lot of you guys don't understand that you're on the record. You guys don't understand that it's being typed out. You don't understand that it's, even though the microphone in front of you is not amplifying your voice, so you can't hear, yourself amplified in the room, it is recording what you say. So you guys, when the judge asks you questions or the attorney asks you questions, you guys will be like, yep, Or, you guys, if Walter says, okay, so tell me, which hand is the worst? I know you say you have arthritis, but, do you have numbness and tingling? And you'll be like, yeah, in this one. Okay, understand that the hearing is not by video. So it is just audio. So you guys have to remember to, one, give yes and no answers, and two, describe the body part. You guys have to say right, left, up, palm, fingers, middle finger, index finger, my wrist right here, middle wrist, right side of my wrist, left side of my wrist, my elbow, right? You guys can't say right here, whatever, so give spoken answers and give descriptions of, right, left, up, down, whatever. And then and speak up too, because if you're soft spoken, I'm perfectly, I respect that. You guys aren't loud and obnoxious like Walter and I. It's okay. But speak up, because it will annoy the judge, because the judge will constantly say, can you speak up? I need to hear you. Because remember, they are, I don't know, what do you say, Walter, 4 feet from them? So they are in front of you, but they are a few feet away, so they need to hear you.
The judges? Oh, the judges are farther than 4 feet. So the judges are probably like 10 feet, I would say. It depends on what room it is, too. Like, if you're on a VTC, you're smack dab right in front of the microphone. But if you're in like an actual hearing, you got a desk in front of you, and then you have the desks of the, the VE, and then you have the judge with his little special desk. And, you have to understand, too, the judges are up higher than you. So there's not a linear level of audio that's coming directly at your ears. So, remember, the judges are special, and they are up higher than you so that they can't hear you. Or another reason, we don't know why, because they're special, and that's important. That's good stuff. But the bottom line is, you got to talk up and forward. You got to throw those words at their ears. Otherwise, I mean, Cheyenne, is the average age 30 years old for the judges, or is it something significantly higher?
No, it's higher. Yeah. So I have judges that are in different states, but those different states, I have by video. But yeah, for a lot of the judges, you'll have some young ones that, are fresh in there, and they'll be in their 30s maybe, but for the most part, these are like experienced judges that have been doing this for years, and they are 50 and up, maybe. Yeah. 50 and up. Yeah. So, you just want to keep your voice up and give spoken answers. But also remember, do not speak during the VE testimony.
Yeah. It's
not a big deal if you guys do. You guys don't know. I mean, if you have an attorney, then even
some of them don't tell.
Not Walter's. Not Walter's claimants.
Yeah, my claimants know. When my claimants know, when they get to the VE, they shushy. Otherwise, the judge is going to be like, and then I look bad. But no, they know. But I know other claimants, they go full bore. They're like, I can't do that job, and they go into like, so yeah.
Yeah. The VE will say, "Oh, he can do a nut sorter job," and then the claimant's like, "What? What? What is that?
Yeah.
I can't do that."
Yeah.
So yeah, but just when the VE is speaking and the judge is speaking, don't interrupt. Don't just let them. You will have your moment to speak. You will, promise. Let's see. What's the other one?
You got one more.
Non-rep claimants.
Yeah.
You guys, at the beginning of this call, like bringing in a pile of evidence, the judges are a little testy about that.
Yeah.
Because they are expecting to have a hearing. They are expecting you to come in and present your case. They don't want to read 100 pages of evidence on the fly. Well, they can't. They won't do it. So they'll briefly skim through it. So if you're okay with them skimming through it and then just kind of ballparking things, then that's up to you. But for the most part, you guys don't want that, right? So make sure that you guys are sending in your evidence and or sending in your evidence or reminding your attorney of what evidence is out there that they need to get, so that your attorneys don't look like an ass when they go in there and they don't have everything. And then they're like, what? He has a $50,000 inheritance?
Oh, God, I know. Don't even start with me on that one. Don't even start with me on how he literally had a side business driving homeless people around and then taking a percent.
That man was smart. He was smart. He was an entrepreneur.
He was a panhandling entrepreneur of the homeless. This is true.
God, please, can we just for 2 minutes, guys? Walter's claimant, it was great. It was so first I was. This was before Walter and I got close. So I'm sitting there. And I'm listening to the testimony and I'm typing it, right? And I'm just like, there is no way this is real. This can't happen. So his claimant.
Me too.
It was.
Me too.
I know. Yeah. So the claimant basically said, yeah, I don't have a vehicle. I'm homeless. Whatever. And so actually Walter got screwed 2 times in that hearing. Yeah. But one was with the truck. He was borrowing his brother's truck, and he was going around and picking up other panhandlers and dropping them off at locations. And then whatever they collected that day, he got 10% of.
Yep.
Genius.
Which was a lot of money. It was a lot of money. When they're panhandling, they make a lot of money. So.
And then, the judge will be like, oh, well, so how much are you making? What money do you have? Well, I'm making about 10%, but, I had a inheritance from my aunt for $50,000, but, I don't have all of it right now. I just, I probably have 4,000 left. So then the judge is looking at Walter, of course, which is honest to God, guys, it's not so much the attorney's fault because you guys hire them for a reason and then you don't tell them everything. And then there's less scrambling for answers, trying to turn this whole thing around to make you look good because now you just make yourself look bad. But you didn't tell him.
And that's, and I mean, I just want to point out with those situations, the clients usually are hiding something from me. And what I always tell people about clients is the only time they really tell me the truth is if they lie twice and accidentally end up on it. And so with that situation, I was completely caught off guard with the money and then completely caught off guard with the panhandling entrepreneurship, a percentage retention per homeless person that he could put on a corner. And he had a whole business doing this for an extended period until the truck broke. So, the judge is looking at me like, hey, counselor, this is great. I love it. Tell me more. And I'm sitting there going, oh God, everything up to this point ruined. And that's the reality. And the judge is sitting there going, And the judge was asking questions about the business operation, piercing the veil of the business to find out what was involved with the structural assets of it. And
who his secretary was.
Right, exactly. Who's doing the accounting? There was obviously no taxes, so it was a bad day. And I have I have really good days, and I'm gonna be honest. As an attorney, I have 95% of the time, good hearing days. And then 5% of the time, I don't know what happens, but it is just a bleeping show. It is just everything goes wrong. The questions don't come out right. The flow is wrong. And then just things go horrible. And I call those my helmet days because they just literally are terrible. And I have no way to handle basic. Some ships, some of these boats can be saved. Some of these boats are going to sink. So that's kind of the problem. Some boats you can save, some boats you can't. But the bottom line is just be honest with your disability attorney because we can help guide you. If you're not honest with it. And another classic one is women when it comes to sexual abuse, they're not with male attorneys very upfront about that. So every time I have a female claimant that potentially has a background of that, like any mental impairments, depression, anxiety, schizoaffective, whatever, I always ask them right up front, hey, any sexual abuse, any abuse as a child, anything at all like that I'm going to find or that I should look for in the record, because otherwise they're not going to tell me until we get to the hearing if we have a female judge. That's if we have a female judge. So, all right, now Cheyenne, I have a question for you. I have one more. Out of all of the clerks, okay, you know when they do a play, they hand out plates at the end and they say, okay, well, you're this person, you were that person. Out of all the clerks, how would you say, how would you say that you are that person, or you're that unique person? You're the Spice Girl, the ringleader. Who are you of the clerks that basically do the So what would your answer be?
So wait, you're asking me, like, out of all of the hearing reporters that do the same job that I do, what kind of role do I have?
I wouldn't say like the personality of the crew that does it. Yeah, what would you say your personality is within the group?
Ooh, God, you're gonna make people hate me.
A little bit, little bit. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. A little bit crying.
Did you say perfect?
No. Did I? I don't know. I'd have to go back.
This is payback. I'm sorry, Walter. I told them about your bad claim.
Oh, man. Yeah. That one's epic. There will be books written about that one. Yeah.
All right. So this is payback. Okay. So I will say this. So for the last few months that, before the pandemic happened and stuff like that, I was actually the trainer for a lot of for all the new hearing reporters coming in and things like that. I love to teach. I love to help people. I love to educate people. I'm just a people person. I think in this job, there is so I would have to say that there's a lot of jaded personalities. I understand that a lot of the judges and a lot of the attorneys, they're not going to be, so emotional because they see this stuff all the time. So when you guys come in there and you're upset, some of you guys get emotional about things. That's okay. This is hard for you guys. You guys are going through stuff that a lot of us don't experience, so don't be afraid to show emotion, but also please don't take it personal if a lot of the judges don't, seem like they care, or because they do care, but, don't mistake them, or even your attorneys that just, that just feel like, okay, well, this person's crying, whatever. Next question. Don't take it personal. It's just they see this all the time. But I am that kind of person that I do care. I care about every claimant that walks in that room. It's not my claim. A lot of the time, and I should say this, when I'm there and I go in for that day of work, I have a certain security clearance as a independent hearing reporter. I do have a certain security clearance that the VEs don't have, that, some of the other people don't have, but I am not allowed to take personal information home. So I don't see your cases. I don't see your claims. I don't see your medical records. I don't know your social. I don't even know your name until I get there that day. That day that I get there, that morning, now I see who's coming. I see, you know, who you are, your name. There's little codes on the itineraries that I know if you guys are like a first timer there, or if you've been denied, or if you're a kid case, etc. So, and some of the judges will give me kind of a debriefing on, he's an educator. He would have been a bomb professor.
Yeah, I love professor.
He would have been great.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would have been awesome. But he is one of the only ones that will give me a description of what's going to happen. And he truly cares, like truly in his soul cares. But you guys should hear the way he describes it. He'll just be like, oh yeah, we have a claimant coming in and he's 47 and, you know, he's had some real bad luck. He's got this and he's got that. And then the poor guy had surgery on this day. And, you know, so there are judges that genuinely they're emotional people. They really do care. And then they all care about their job, but you're going to have some that are more jaded than others. I am not a jaded person whatsoever. I like to be personable. I like to make people laugh. And when you guys come in there and I see that you're stressed out and I see that you're nervous and I see that you're anxious, you can ask Walter. I will be the first one to go up to you, even if you're not with my judge. I will go up to you. I will introduce myself. I'll say, hey, what are you nervous about? What's going on? Like,
yeah,
it's going to be fine. I promise, you know, and then I'll try to say something to get your mind off of it and make a joke or whatever. I honestly can't give an honest, genuine opinion. I mean, I could of the other hearing reporters, but there's a lot of us are great. We are, but we're all different too. So there are some that are going to be more jaded. There are some that are not. There are some that are there to work, collect the paycheck, get your name and number, and get the hell out. That's not how I am. I like to be thorough. I like to help people. And I think that's why, you know, also, you know, I got made into a trainer. I was able to train some of the new people that came on. Some made it, some didn't, because it's a lot to do. Like, you know, I think some people think that a hearing reporter is just someone that comes in and types and goes home, and it's not. Like, we have a first hand in meeting you guys and getting your information, and then we transcribe the hearing, and then, you know, and we're right there with you during the hearing. For some of you non-rep claimants, you know, I will talk to you on a more personal level, and I'm not going to say what we talk about right now on this live because other people could be listening in, but I really am on your side. I know that I'm you know, next to the ALJ and I'm doing things for them, but I know that you guys need this. My middle son has a disability. You know, I used to work at the VA. I used to volunteer. I used to volunteer with disabled children. I'm around this a lot, and I have a huge, huge compassionate heart for people that really need the help. And so I don't want you guys to go in there and just be nervous and completely blow it, especially if you're not rep. So I do try to, as I said, I'm not going to go into details, but I do try to help you guys out a little bit, I'll say, you know, and calming your nerves and maybe the basis of what's going to happen so you guys are a little bit more prepared. Because, again, this is your day. This is your day. You guys deserve this. You guys want this. You've worked, you know, trying to get everything together for your day. So I want you guys to have that day. Walter wants you guys to have that day. This is why Walter does day in and day out. Like, this guy, I can't even say. I could stay here all night and talk about the great things that he does for people outside of just his job. Okay, like, we know that he's an attorney. Right now, he doesn't have to be doing this, right? Like, he really cares. He's miserable some nights because he's up late working on things crazy hours. But he dedicates his time, a lot of his free time, to sit here and help you guys because he has the same heart that I do. He really does genuinely care. He might be a little jaded sometimes, but he really does care. I promise you. But you know that. We'll go off topic, but the only last thing I want to say, and it was part of my top 5 mistakes, yada yada, but we is hire an attorney to represent you. You guys hire an attorney to guide you, and you guys have to be forthright, and you have to tell them everything. These disability attorneys are different than crim law and family law and all of that. They pull everything on you. Your criminal, your education, your academia, your work history, all of it. Please be forward with them, or they can't help you as 100% help you the way that you guys are hiring them to do. They can't do their job if you don't allow them to. So please tell them everything, because I'm telling you, now that I know Walter on a more personal level, back then here with that claim, and I've seen other claims of his where, some of the claimants will just get in this pride ego thing, and they're like, what? I can walk for an hour.
Right.
I can do all. I mean,
yeah.
You guys don't these judges and attorneys have heard everything from the gross details to the embarrassing ones to the, I know a lot of you guys are such hard workers. You guys have put in so much to this world, working, and you have a great work history, and now you guys feel defeated because you guys can't work. It is okay to express yourself in that way in that hearing. Everyone's heard it. Everyone. They've heard it. So don't be embarrassed. Don't just please tell your attorneys everything, because they're there for you, and they want to help you guys too. So that would be my last thing, is to tell them everything. And if you're not represented, please write down everything. A lot of times these judges will let you bring out a piece of paper and read from it or jog your memory. Some of them won't. So try to, jot down everything that you want to say, because like I said, this is your day. And if you want it bad enough, you need to prove that. So, that's all. And I'm out. I feel like Trump. And I'm done.
And
so we'll talk about this tomorrow, guys.
There it is. That was super amazing. Extra super, really. So guys, that was incredible. That was really amazing. Madame, let me ask you this. Before we pop off, that was incredible, by the way. That was such good information. You kind of walked everybody through what happens. They get to see a totally different viewpoint from somebody that normally they wouldn't even get to be able to interact with, even in the slightest of bits. Let me ask you this. Do you have any, while we're on the air, and I always ask everybody at the end of the call, is there any additional questions or anything like that you have for me?
How much am I getting paid for this? No.
Lots and lots. Let me get all my soap over here. No.
No.
Indeed.
No, I don't have any questions, but I will say, guys, I love, I'm sorry, I'm watching, so you're a little bit on the lag, so now I'm back in front of my computer, and I can see you laughing 10 seconds delayed, and now I see Layla.
Yeah, she ran in and jumped me. Let me tell you.
Thanks, speaker lady, James Bond. All right, so my name is Cheyenne, and and so basically, guys, now I am here with you guys. So if you guys have questions, I'm on your side at this point in the game. Like I said, this has been a decision that Walter and I have kind of gone back and forth on, as far as me coming on here and trying to give you guys information. But with the way things that are going, I just feel better in my heart helping you guys at this point, and obviously helping Walter. It makes my heart happy. So I'm here for you guys. He's here for you guys. Whatever questions you have, we'll try to filter through them. I know we say that every time, and I think sometimes we don't. But we're busy. I'm super busy. And so, yeah, just I'm glad that we're on the live and doing these questions for you guys. And, Walter's doing the lives. I think it's a really great resource for you guys. And you guys need to take advantage of it because, again, like I said, his time is limited and he is dedicating a lot to you guys. So please, appreciate it. Most importantly, that's just from me. Please appreciate it. And I know you guys do. You guys are awesome. But yeah, just please appreciate it because he does a lot. And then also he's coming out with a whole bunch of videos. He has 300 of them. Go watch all the tutorials that you can. We've assorted a lot of them into playlists for you guys so you can, what we say, set it and forget it. You can just listen to him talk while you're, doing laundry or whatever it is you guys do. So,
Excellent.
so yeah, that's it. So I guess good. I'm sorry that it took over an hour.
No, it's okay.
But you knew that was going to happen.
I knew it. I knew when I talked to you, I was like, 30 minutes. And I was like, nah, she'll be 4 hours in. It'll be fine. It'll be amazing. It'll be good. Excellent, Madame. It sounded very, very, very good. All the details were incredible. And frankly, I think most people are really, really blessed here right now, if they watch this video, to be able to hear kind of the information relevant to it. That's my doggy. So what I want to do, I got to pull him up on my lap. Otherwise, he's going to keep bitching. I'm going to go ahead and we probably have enough time for one call to go ahead and run questions. So Cheyenne, thank you so much. And have a wonderful night. And we'll catch up with you a little bit later,
Okay. Bye, everybody. I'll see you in the chat. Have a good night. Thank you.
Perfect, guys. So let's talk about that real quick. What she gave you was kind of the inside track on what to expect when you go into, get out of a hearing. That's so incredibly important. And the reason why is that most people don't have any understanding. And to be honest with you, most of the attorneys are not going to explain the details that she has to go into. The things that you need to bring ahead of time, the things that you want to make sure you have and you're aware of. If you have two hands and you talk in the hearing, make sure you specify which hand. Going through these little details, incredibly important, because when they tell you stuff, right before the hearing, when you meet her right before the hearing, it's tough to remember all the things. So she just gave you a lot of the details that you should know ahead of time, which is absolutely incredible. So let me ask you this: if there is an individual out there that wants to run questions, that's fine. You can always give me a call. I'll put the phone number out there real quick, and that way you can have it. Hold on, let me see. Boom, there you go. Okay, so let's go ahead and in the meantime, what I'm going to be doing, other than petting Shadow, is I'm going to take a moment and go through some of the questions that I'm going to be making videos of later down the line. So with that said, let's look at this next one. What are the top 5 things I should do once being found disabled and receiving or about to be receiving disability benefits? Okay, so what are the top 5 things that you can do once you're about to receive benefits or you're already receiving benefits? First thing you're going to do is once you get that approval letter, you're going to go ahead and go to a bank and you're going to open up a bank account. Once they see that letter, they will open up a bank account for you. You don't have to have money. You don't have to have any of that stuff. Almost every single bank out there will allow you to go ahead and open it up. They'll give you an account number and a routing number, which you can give to the SSA for direct deposit if that's what you choose. Either way, you want to have the account open because it basically allows you to, take your, green card, your debit express, direct express card, your debit card, and transfer the funds right over to that bank account. So you want to be able to have that as an option to go ahead and do. With that said, let's take a look at this. Another thing that you want to do is that you want to not tell everybody in the world that you were found disabled, because people will try and get money from you. People will try and borrow money from you. People will try and basically do whatever they can to get whatever money they can out of you. Now, remember, you probably owe some individuals going back in time for how they helped you out while you were waiting. That's a different story. But there are going to be those individuals who basically are going to want to try and get money from you. Yes, things I should do. Thing number 1, get a bank account. Thing number 2, don't tell a lot of people. So I'm going to go through that because the camera kind of went off there. Thing number 1 you want to do, get a bank account. Thing number 2, don't tell a lot of people. Thing number 3, figure out the mathematics of it. So let me walk you through that. Let's say that you are on a SSDI benefits. Not much mathematics that you're going to do. They'll already have everything pretty much pre-accounted out. For SSI, you need to be able to explain how you've been living, how you've been affording things, if you're homeless, because these are all questions that are important for the poverty-based program during that pre-effectuation interview, which is the interview they give you a call with directly after you're found disabled. So usually a couple of weeks. All right. So that's number 3. What are the top 5 things I should do once I'm found disabled? So first one, once again, open a bank account. Number 2, don't tell a lot of people. Number 3, get your accounting together. Figure out what you do, stuff like that. All right, now let's go into the final thing, or rather number 4 or 5. Number 4, the next thing you should do is start to figure out how you're going to spend the money wisely. And if you need an emergency release of funds. All right, so what is spending the money wisely? That means not spending the money on, you guessed it, narcotics. Super good. We don't want to spend money on that. Or alcohol or tobacco-related products, including cigarettes, cigars, and all that good stuff that you put in your lip. You don't want to spend money on that jazz because it's just going to piss off the judge if they ever found out. They won't, but the bottom line is they're not going to be happy because those funds are used and supposed to be used for your general upkeep and your medical upkeep as a disabled individual. Awesome. So let's talk about that real quick. Using your funds wisely, brilliantly, so smart, right? Yes, Shadow's going to lick my face real quick. So what does that mean? It means that you are going to figure out if you have enough back pay to buy a trailer with a piece of land, if that's what you want, or set up a rent to buy, big down payment, rental, yada, yada, to go ahead and own some sort of apartment or something like that. You can do that and basically set yourself up to have more freedom by not being stuck in a traditional rental agreement. Obviously, stay away from HOAs. Now, some of you guys will not receive. Hold on, let me just evacuate the snuggle muffin. Some of you guys, now he's angry with me. That's okay. I know, I'm so sorry. Some of you guys will basically want to buy a really cool truck, or come on, man, or buy a really cool RV. And an RV is not a bad idea. I just want to put that out there. RVs aren't a terrible thing so long as you have a place to put it, like an RV park where you have really, really cheap rent. Okay. So with that, okay. So here's the thing, guys. He's not going to stop bitching unless I pick him back up. So enter the shadow. Come here. Come on. All right. So Shadow usually wins because he's just obnoxious. So let me grab the monkey. Okay. Now back to the Shadow show. So what you need to know is this. Spending the funds wisely is being able to have a place to live, right? I know I love you so much. Being able to have a place where you live and being able to supply yourself with the basic fundamental things that you need to exist. That's food, water, shelter, all the other amenities. And of course, let's not forget internet. Although most of you just get a cell phone nowadays and just use that. And then, of course, create hotspots off of it. And then you get a fire stick and then you firewall break it or whatever, and then you go from there. All right, so let's go through this real quick. So basically, you're going to have to figure out how to spend the funds wisely. Now, number 5, once you receive your benefits, once you figure out what's going on, what your future is going forward and setting yourself up for continuous future medical treatment, okay, for continuous future medical treatment, either with your own doctors or new doctors or different doctors or whatever, because usually a year to 2 years to 3 years from now, they'll go ahead and create what's called a CDR, a continuing disability review, whether on short form or long form, which is a review where they basically look to see whether or not you are still impaired. If you're not impaired, you don't get your check. So you want to be able to make sure that you can prove that you are still impaired. Going to medical treatment and the doctor saying that you're still as severe as you were before is while going through this process. Once again, those are the top 5 things that you need to watch out for while going through this process. All right, let's go through the next question. All right, am I a candidate for losing my Social Security disability benefits after I fought so hard to get them. So now we're going to answer this question. If anybody wants to call in, that's fine too. Did I miss any? No, just a bunch of texts. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so what this is, I know. Okay, I'll put you into the snuggle position. You're not in the proper snuggle position. There you go. All right, so let's talk about that. Am I a candidate for losing my Social Security disability benefits after I fought so hard to get them? Yeah, all of you are. Unless you're over 55 or definitely over 60, you are a candidate for potential CDR review. What does that mean? It means that they're going to check to see if you're still disabled under their rules and regulation, under their rules and under their rules and regulations. And what does that mean? It means that they change the rules all the time. They change them all the time. And basically what that means, yeah, did the CDRs change under Trump? They did. It was a slight change. Instead of basically having CDRs as by statute happening 1 year or 3 years, or blah, 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 it used to be 7 years. He added the potential. It wasn't really him. It was the commissioner over the SSA. But, everything gets attributed to him. But the bottom line is that the commissioner added a 2-year option pertaining to that. Hold on, let me see. What does hold on, I got to see what it texts because I just got another question. All right, so what does that mean? Oh, okay, we just got a call in. I want to take this call, and then we'll go ahead and run some hearing questions. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Knott. Are you... Oh, wait a minute. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Knott. Are you ready to run some hearing questions? Excellent, good sir. One moment. Let me get you set up here. Okay, perfect, good sir. Just a quick disclaimer. There's no attorney-client privilege here. Also, keep in mind that throughout this process, don't use your real name. And then make sure you're not on speakerphone. Make sure you're having the phone up to your ear, or you're basically having a headset in. Otherwise, we're going to get a little bit of feedback. So, good sir, let me ask you this: what is your fake name?
Jose Perez.
Okay, excellent. Let me ask you this: how old are you?
54.
54 years old. Okay, and help me out with this: are you left or right-handed?
Right-handed.
Okay, what's your current weight?
How much do I weigh?
Yes, how much do you weigh?
230.
Excellent. Has your weight shifted a lot over the past couple of years?
Yes, up and down.
Okay. Up and down a lot or a little bit?
To 230 to 212, 211.
Okay. That's pretty significant. Let me ask you this. Do you live on a 1-story or 2-story building?
I live in a family house.
Family house. How many live in the house with you?
By myself.
Just by yourself, all in a family house? How do you afford that?
Oh, no, it's not. I have a voucher.
A voucher. So it's like a Section 8.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. So walk me through this family house. Does this multiple floors? Is it just one thing? Do you have any stairs to walk into it?
Yes, 12 stairs.
12 stairs. Okay, what are your top 5 impairments?
I have a heart condition. I have a heart bypass, 2 heart attacks, 4 stents. I have asthma. I have depression, IBS, and joint pain.
Okay. Do you have urinary incontinence as well?
Yes.
Okay. Now, walk me through this. When you were younger, did you play sports?
No, I was excused I was in high school for the doctor.
Okay. And let me ask you this. So this is something where you've had many of these issues going way back in time. Can you tell me now, those 12 steps, do you walk up them with ease? Do you have any issue with them?
Yes, I have issue with my asthma. If I have to sometimes have to stop each step and get my breath.
Well, that must be pretty darn difficult. Can you explain to me, how are you able to go ahead and walk up those steps each and every day, multiple times?
Because sometimes I can do it, and sometimes I have to stop at each step. Okay. And it's been difficult, but I have to do it because upstairs is the bedroom and downstairs is the kitchen.
So with the Section 8 voucher and the doctors, leaning your way, can you explain to me, did they go ahead and potentially set you up for one of those chairs where you can sit on it and it'll take...
I'm going to try to get another pillow. Oh, so that's one level.
Okay. So help me out with this. Do you keep the walker in the room upstairs?
Upstairs? Yeah, I'll keep it upstairs.
Okay. So when you're walking the walker down with the stairs with you, do you hold the walker in your left hand or your right hand?
I don't take it down. I have somebody bring it down for me when I was back to the appointment. When I leave, I have somebody bring it down for me.
So you bring the walker down. Now, do you own a car?
No, I don't have a car.
Do you have a license?
I have a license, but I don't drive.
Okay, why don't you drive?
Why don't I drive?
Sure.
Because of the medications that I take makes me sleepy, drowsy, and I feel disoriented.
Keep going. Keep going.
And before that, I had a guy into a car accident when I was taking medication. So that's why I don't drive anymore.
Okay. So how do you transport yourself? Do you take the bus?
No, they take me to my doctor's appointment. Have a family member drive me.
So somebody on behalf of Medicaid shows up and drives you.
Right.
Make sure you specify exactly that. Excellent. Now walk me through this, good sir. What medications are you currently taking?
I take a lot of medications. Nitroglycerin, Renexa, Endor, Seroquel, Hydroxine. I have glaucoma also. I take different eye drops. Forgot about my glaucoma. I take so many different medications. I have a list. I have my memory.
Okay.
I have to look at the medications. I have some medications, the pumps, prednisone, the inhalers, gabapentin, Lyrica. A lot of medications. I just don't remember all of them off the top of my head.
Make sure for your actual hearing that you have all of your medications written on a piece of paper, what they're for and what side effects you get from each, and shoot for at least 2 side effects per medication. All right. Perfect. Good, sir. Walk me through this. Do you ever ride a bicycle to get places?
No, I don't drive a bicycle. When I was younger, not now, I don't drive a bicycle.
What do you feel out of all of your impairments is the most severe impairment?
Right now, I think my depression and my heart.
Okay, your depression in your heart. And now, walk me through this. The depression, how does that limit your ability to work?
I cannot be around people. I get nervous. I have anxiety. I don't trust people. I get like panic attacks. I feel like people are watching me. I don't want to be around people. I want to be by myself. I have crying spells, things like that.
All right, so walk me through this. You have these mental restrictions, these issues. Talk to me about environmental restrictions. They're like hot, cold, loud sounds, vibrations, pulmonary irritants. What in the environment makes your impairments more difficult or more severe, if you will?
Well, my asthma, I cannot be around cold weather or fumes. I cannot climb stairs like ladders, things like that. The detergents, I cannot smell that. In fact, I take an injection for Fancetta because of that. Because I have to help my asthma for the allergics.
Okay.
Reactions.
Gotcha. Okay. Help me out with this. And I'm going to start using trick questions on you. Do you have any difficulty with cooking, cleaning, or doing laundry?
I don't do any of that stuff. I have family member come over, and also I have a CNN, certified nurse assistant, that comes over and helps me out, and she does those things for me. Because I forget things, so if I try to put something in the microwave, I'll forget about it on the stove. So that's why I don't use the stove anymore, because I have gotten burned a few times.
Well, surely if she, if that person is not able to cook for you, aren't you able to do some basic functions? Maybe throw something in the oven, throw something on the stove?
No. I just make a sandwich or a bowl of cereal, but I don't use a stove anymore.
Can you explain to me this? When it comes to your impairments, what do you feel is the most severe mental impairment that you have? I know you said depression, but there were a couple other ones that you mentioned as well.
Well, I have anxiety. I have post-traumatic stress disorder. But I think, to me,
so you didn't really go into detail, and you did solidify that depression was the worst. And remember, depression is very different than anxiety. Depression is, imagine, I don't know if you can see me on the screen, but if you have 2 lines, right? You have the bottom of the barrel of you being miserable, and the top line being you in a heavenly state / anxious, like you're one of those. Somebody that's anxious is up here at the top line. Somebody who's depressed is down here at the bottom line. In the middle is you on a normal day. And what you have to keep in mind is that curve, if you go all the way up and then come down, that's basically your mood swing. Now, if you have sharp spikes, that's a panic attack. Or if you have extreme lines that go up and down like that, that would be bipolar. So just keep in mind, the anxiety is being anxious, depression is being very low, not having a desire to do things, complete things, start things, etc. So now, good sir, explain to me this. What was the last job that you worked?
I was a security officer in the hospital.
Okay, and how did that job go?
Well, what did I do?
Well, how did it go? What did you do?
Oh, I was in charge of the emergency room. I helped the ambulance person when they came with the patient. Removed them from the stretcher onto the bed, put them on the bed in the hospital. Transported people to the X-ray, MRI. I removed like the cubicle curtains when the maintenance people couldn't do it when they weren't around. I raised people different places, like directions of how to get to different places of the hospital. I also had to do cashier duties, like parking and charge for the parking. And I have to write some reports, like if anything was missing from a patient or from the nurse, I had to write a report about it.
Okay. Now, were I to be an adjudicator, the first thing I'd be thinking is, okay, we're talking about a full standing, walking job. You've got to be quick on your feet. You have to be able to assist. You have to be able to open doors. You have to be able to interact with people coming in. So somebody with depression, things like that, might not be able to do well with this job. So now I'm going to flip it around. Good sir, let's say I'm a security company and I'm hiring. I'm hiring you for 6 out of 8 hours to basically, sit, watch monitors on a screen. And then for 2 of those 8 hours, I'm asking you to walk about 100 yards and take an ID badge from your belt and put it into the upper right-hand corner of a door frame about 7 times over those 100 yards. Why would you have a tough time doing that job if you would?
Yeah, I would, because I have problems with my standing. And I got problems with my hands. I have my hands swell and I get pain in my joints. And I wouldn't be able to do it. And I can't be bending down. And I get dizzy when I bend down and get up. I feel dizzy.
Keep going. So
and,
here's the big thing that's missing from your testimony, which is deeper thought. So, for example, okay, take a moment. You're sitting. Do you feel pain? How long can you sit? You have to be sitting there for a long time to do security jobs. So how long can you sit? Next thing, typing. Are you able to outreach your hands and type? Are you able to click the screen, interact with those, little monitors, the little TV screens on the big monitor? Are you able to focus on a computer screen for an extended period without losing focus? Are you able to go ahead and interact with people who might walk up to you as part of this job? Are you able to interact with bosses that might have to ask you questions or change what your duties are, your routine is with this job? When you're walking, are there curbs? Do you have a tough time getting over curbs? If you can go up 12 steps to get to an apartment, which you have to get to every day. And that was another thing. I put into your mouth the whole everyday thing. I don't know if you go in and out of that apartment every day, but in a non-COVID world, do you leave the apartment every single day?
No, I don't. Especially now, but I usually don't leave the house until I have a doctor's appointment because I'm always like inside, man. Especially now, anyway. Whether the COVID or not, I'm always inside. So I only left when I had a doctor's appointment, but now the doctor's appointment are over the phone.
Gotcha. All right, so that was a trick. I put some words in your mouth there to go ahead and say, ooh, you did this. Then you agreed with it and validated it and affirmed it on the record. So watch out for that. The other thing you missed an opportunity with is when I asked you about cooking, cleaning, yada, 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 you didn't really go into why you couldn't do them. You just went into who does them, how the county provides for you, etc. That would have been a great opportunity to explain why you can't do cooking, why you can't do cleaning, why you can't do laundry. Let's do one of them just to see how well you do. Good sir, why do you have a tough time doing laundry if you do?
Just the clothes, and putting it into the machine and taking it out. I'm gonna have a hard time with it. Before I tried to do it before. And
do this. All right, now look, you got to go into laundry basket, heavy wet laundry going into a dry machine. How heavy is the soap? How do you pile it up? How do you move it from where you pile it up to where the machines are? Detail. I gotta make me believe, because right now I'm thinking this. You know what I mean? There's no emotional connection to you. All right, let's try another thing. Let's get out of the hearing questions. Tell me a recent story about how you were unable to function and take care of basic needs. Get me on your side. Give me an emotional context. Walk me through it.
Sometimes on a bad day, I have something in my stomach. I need help just to go to the toilet. I got eye pain so much and headaches from the glaucoma. Sometimes I get chest pain from my heart. And sometimes I have that all at the same time. Sometimes I only have 2 or 3 of those symptoms, plus my depression, the voices that I hear, that I'm no good, that I should kill myself. And I try to watch TV. I put it on. The TV watches me. I can't focus. I cannot concentrate. I'm not the same person I was before. I'm a different person. Sometimes I feel like I'm worthless. Sometimes I can't do anything anymore. Even taking a shower, I have to take a shower and with a chair because I feel dizzy, my balance, and I can fall down. I have fallen down so many times in the house. That's why I got the walker.
Okay. So that was a good summary of what your impairments are. And it was good because you also threw in an orthopedic device, being the shower stool, that helps to get through the basic hygiene functions. What it wasn't good was an actual story that made me emotionally connect to you. So through that, you tell me, at what point was I supposed to emotionally connect with you?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, nobody, you don't know me, so you shouldn't have any emotional connection. You know,
how can I get to know you?
You know, you have to see what I'm going through. We have to be here physically to see what I'm going through.
Tell me about something that is really, truly traumatic that happened in your life that I can emotionally connect to.
Well, the heart surgery that I had, when I was younger, when I was raped, and the depression that I'm having, the post-traumatic stress that I'm having because of that right now, the issues that I have now with the people, trusting people.
Something recent, something within the past 5 years, something that makes me believe you're a human being and not a machine spitting out a diagnostic impression.
Well, before I was able to function in society and be in the workforce, now I can't do any of that stuff because of my heart, because of my glaucoma, because of my mental conditions. I'm not the same person that I used to be before. I used to be a functional person, and now I'm the complete opposite. I'm non-functional. I'm like worthless. I can't even lift a gallon of milk. It's so unbelievable. I cannot even lift a gallon of water. I cannot even make a decent meal for myself. I cannot be cutting onions, peppers, like I used to do, and enjoying a meal that I made myself. I just can't do that stuff anymore. Sometimes I get so short of breath, I just can't breathe. I have to give myself therapy. So we've been walking down the stairs, 2 blocks, one half block. I have to stop and rest. I'm not the same person I used to be before.
You're getting closer, but you're still not there. I need you to explain why you are not the same person. I'm going to help you out. I'm going to give you direction like a director would on a film. So you are Brad Pitt. You are Denzel Washington. You are a great actor. All right. Now I'm going to go ahead and give you some direction as to how I want you to come out with that particular scene. The scene is something that happened while you were working at the hospital to assist somebody in the emergency room that saved their life, and how now you don't have the ability to do those functions, and how your love of saving human life has disappeared from the things that you can do on a daily basis. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, that's true. That's true. I did chase her to a parking lot, and the sister came running to try to help her, and I went there with the golf cart. And when he tried to jump, when he did jump, I tried to catch him. I tried to catch him so he wouldn't break his head, and I caught him, but the gravity knocked me down. And then I spent 7 days in the hospital, and he walked out of the hospital the same day.
Okay. All right. So bottom line is that's good, but how you told it, not good. I want you to focus on and Google and YouTube great storytellers and be able to explain how you saved a life and how you no longer have the ability to do that. But be careful with that one, because that one shows you as a super physical character. And how long ago did that happen? Was that 2 years ago? Was that 3 years ago?
Well, that was 2016.
Okay, so that was
it's on record. It's on record because I spent 7 days in the hospital that same day.
Okay, so bottom line is Yeah, so that was a big moment in your life that changed your physical abilities. Okay. All right. We're running out of time because we're at 1 hour and 59 minutes. It's already 10. Do you have any questions for me before I pop off and get to go write briefs for the rest of the night?
Yeah, but I have a question. If a case is remanded from the federal judge back
Sure.
to the hearing, what are the chances of winning?
All right. So first thing you're going to want to do is find out, are you being remanded back to the same judge or a different judge? Either way, look up what their different judge. So you're probably getting it's probably an appointment clause remand, which means that it doesn't matter. Just it's different judge. Look up on disabilityjudges.com or .net or whatever the heck it is, which specific judge you have and what percent passage rate it is. If it's around 47%, that's a good judge. If it's above 47%, that's a great judge. If it's below 30%, then boy, you're going to have a tough time. Now, are you currently represented? You don't have to tell me what attorney or legal rep it is.
Yeah, I am.
Okay. When is the hearing?
When is the hearing?
Yeah.
Where?
No, where is it? When is the hearing? Is it a month from now?
Massachusetts.
No, but where? Like, sorry, when is it? Is it a month from now? Is it 2 months from now?
Oh yeah, it's in June.
It's in June. All right. So your attorney should be starting to call you to run questions with you to get you prepped throughout this process, kind of like what we just did. The testimony you gave, there were a lot of slip-ups, mistakes, and issues that your attorney will hopefully prep you on. Now, if you have a big box firm attorney, you're probably not going to meet that attorney until you actually go to the hearing, which is not a good deal. You want to push whoever it is you have to really grill you like a Whopper at a Burger King to make sure that you feel the tough questions hitting you. Now, there's another thing too. Make sure you have all your evidence in, because you are running out of time to go to medical facilities to have that evidence submitted to the administrative law judge. There's that aspect. All right. Another thing too, when you're working on your story and explaining what happened, you, like what Cheyenne's saying there, have to get rid of your pride and go down to the basic fundamentals of what made you love your job. If you can figure out what made you love your job and do it well every single day, what made you jump to save that person, then you can tell a great story. Because remember, great stories are about characters, they're about people that have problems, and they're about solutions that aren't perfect. Those are great stories. So, guys, I want to thank you all for taking part in this. Good, sir.
Thank you.
I'll catch up with you later. You can always shoot me an email or give me a call. But if you have any questions, please don't be afraid to reach out again. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you, good sir. All righty, guys. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and wrap up the session. I felt that the session was a lot better because we had a variety of options here to go ahead and have somebody that worked with the SSA on a daily basis, to basically have variety of doing hearing questions, to have variety of the text talk. That was awesome. We need to have more of this. I'm going to try and find other people who basically have had their benefits for 10 years, have had their benefits for 10 days, are 20 days away from their hearing, are 2 years away from their hearing, are 20, are just about to finish the paperwork. I want to have people come on here and explain the emotional context and also the administrative functions of what they're going through and how it affects them on a daily basis. Because what most people think, and I even saw some of that in the chatter over here, is that their impairments are unique to them. And a lot of you guys have crossover impairments. One impairment crosses over to another impairment, etc. So the bottom line is this: since you have these crossover impairments, you can connect. But realize many of you share in the same emotional context that these other individuals do. Sure, the pain might be in your foot. Sure, the pain might be in your hand. Sure, you might have headaches. I get it. But a lot of you share in the same emotional context, which is basically the fundament of what makes this whole system so crappy. And I'm going to tell you why the system, most people hate it. I'm going to tell you right up front right now why most people absolutely are disgusted by this system. It is not because it's a bad system. It's actually not that bad. I've seen so much of it now. It's got its problems, but it's not that bad. What's so disgusting about this system is that people right up front emotionally can't connect to it because they realize and think it's too hard for them to be able to learn, adjust how they basically present their claim, and also go ahead and interact with the different administrative functions of the SSA. If you took a moment, I'm going to share something with you that my law professors told me while I was going to take the bar exam. And this is so important. This is like huge. This changed a lot of how I handle life. If you approach something with a positive attitude and you keep telling yourself it's extremely simple and you can do it, then you will feel like you're already a winner, and you will feel like you have the capacity to do better than other people at it. And that striking, egotistical, wow, I'm incredible, will drive you to do a better job than many people who think that they're amazing but are afraid of the system. Do not be afraid of the system, because A, you can always ask me questions. There's a lot of stuff out there. And B, remember, this all comes down to how medically severe are you and can you do a job? That's it. That's as complicated as it gets. Can you do a job? Are you medically severe? Right? That's it. All the other jazz, things like that, an attorney can help with, sure. But if you want to know it, you want to know how it works, all the information is online. It's all there. You just have to Google it at this point. And don't be afraid to ask questions. The greatest part of being an attorney, and this is the trickiest stuff too, that most people have a hard time of, is taking massive amounts of information and then bringing it down and funneling it into a summarized single sentence of what the entire claim was about. There are amazing, amazing film producers, directors, people that would make the most brilliant films that could summarize immensely complex plot lines in a single sentence. And sometimes it's as easy as he went to the wrong planet, he met the wrong girl, he had the wrong weapon. Sometimes it's easy as that, but at the end of the day, you got to be able to summarize down exactly what it is into the smallest little bit of information so that you can use it to your advantage. Guys, have a wonderful night. I got to go write some briefs. I'll catch you later. Thank you so much. And don't forget, help other people while you're out there. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.